will mute everybody for the first part of this meeting, and then you are welcome to unmute yourself for whatever you want to share, whatever you would like to look into. So if we could welcome our experience just as it is, sort of turn your attention inward. You are the source. Deeper than the activity of the mind. Is this effortless presence. Universal presence. That each one of us knows as I am. So it is this very I that welcomes itself, recognizes itself. Effortlessly. The silent, still, aware, awake presence. Borderless. That does not know any opposite. Like the ocean, one ocean. That I am. As that ocean, as that seamless presence. The mind is at rest. at peace. It recognizes itself to be the ocean. The same transparent reality which hears these words right now effortlessly. You are this peace, the ground of being. As this peace, there is nothing pressing, no issue. No conflict. Like the fruit on the tree. At peace. When the sun shines, the sun is shining. When it rains, it's raining. When there is a breeze, there is a breeze. There are no issues. One could say nothing is happening. And yet, how sweet the breeze, the warmth of the sunshine, the feeling of the rain. You experience conflict in your dream. Only when you imagine yourself to be separate, to be the mortal body mind, somebody who exists in time and space. while in fact you do not exist. You are. Beingness is absolute. But upon imagining yourself to be somebody born, living, improving, progressing, regressing, you are struggling with ghosts, the ghosts of separation. You've divided yourself from the universality of being to the imagined mortality of being. Reality is neither born nor extinguished. In God's kingdom, there is no conflict. But within your mind, there may be the impression of lack, the impression that something negative may happen to you. That there is something at stake for you. What is this you? In this moment of being, is there a separate you? Or is it just an erroneous interpretation about your reality? What is it that we are so preoccupied about? My future, my life, my family, my health. What is this me, this person that you imagine yourself to be and you feel yourself to be? What is its truth? What is its reality? A thought appears with an image of a me, an image of this man, woman, this father, son, daughter. An image appears. A sensation appears. A storyline appears. Are you the character within the storyline? Am I being the reality that hears these words? Am I a character within a storyline? When you look, what is it that is looking? When you perceive in this moment, what is it that perceives? Is it not the entire universe perceiving? This body-mind, is it not intimately interconnected with everything, with the totality? Is there in reality anything separate? Can the mind be quiet and still, silent? Absorbed in its source, in its reality? Where there is no such thing as a conflict. You imagine a you, but you are not the you which you imagine yourself to be. You imagine yourself to be something you perceive. But anything you perceive is limited. You cannot resolve the issues that you experience by going deeper and deeper into the mind. You have to go upwards to the source. Not deeper and deeper into the storyline about me and him and her. And as you go upward to the source, you come to yourself. The one self. Which is the absolute isness. The reality of being. The reality which hears these words right now. You come to the inner silence, the sanctity of silence. Which is a peace the freedom, the love. So we dive deeper than the surface. And we realize we are the ocean. Never been otherwise. So if you have any questions, anything that you would like to explore, make sure you unmute your mic here. So any questions? Hello, Holger.
Hello, Magdi. Thank you for this beautiful meditation. So suffering is just a layer of mental images I entertain.
Suffering refers to a sufferer.
Yes.
Not simply an image, because you can perceive an image of a grizzly bear, it's beautiful, but there is no sufferer. So it's beyond the image, it's the belief and the feeling, of course, they go hand in hand, that I am the body mind, that I am Magdi, I'm Holger, I'm somebody. So suffering is inherent in that seed, the seed of ignorance. So once that belief, as long as that belief remains unexamined, uninvestigated, it may not be active. It may be in a dormant state sometimes in our life or during the day, but nonetheless, it is there. It is. So suffering refers to a sufferer, somebody, which of course you imagine yourself to be, or you feel yourself to be. When you take a close look at the sufferer, or at the meditator, or at the doer, or at the... You find that, in fact, there isn't a separate character, there isn't a separate entity, there isn't a separate doer. Rather, you find that it's the entire cosmos, the entire universe that is being, that is perceiving, that is manifesting. And the I, the sense of I, which we all know and we all experience, is revealed to be that entire realm, a universal I, rather than some focal or local or limited I. We find that I is this borderless awareness. I is the totality. My body is the entire universe. My mind is the cosmic mind. So suffering is a form of contraction of the totality into a locality plus the belief that this locality is the totality. So when there is a contraction of the totality in a locality, without the belief that this locality is the totality, that is just experience.
Right now, it feels there can be no suffering anymore. But who knows?
Yes, who knows? But the thought that refers to later, within that thought there is an impression of time. There's an impression of later. But in our experience, which trumps the thought, why? Because the thought is just an arising within this awareness, within the I, within consciousness. So consciousness is taken on the form of a thought. But the thought that refers to a later is trumped by our experience that in fact there is no such thing as later, there's just the eternity of being. And that understanding is a golden understanding. So we don't indulge in later, because later refers to me, but doesn't refer to consciousness. From consciousness, there is no later. There isn't. It's just an image that appears now, or a thought that may appear now or not. A thought that may appear of breakfast this morning, or a thought that may appear of a thought about traveling to Hawaii. This thought is appearing as the eternity of presence. So that understanding, of course, is an important understanding, because within this understanding, there isn't a me in time or space. So time and space appear within me as a thought, as an image, as a perception. But I don't appear in the thought or the perception. I do not appear in the yard or in the village. The village appears within me. I neither appear nor disappear.
Right now, it's so clear and easy and surreal. And yeah, that's maybe all there is right now.
Yes. Right now is actually the eternity of being. That's a let's say, non-dual way of expressing the words right now.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, Magdi.
Yes.
Majid.
Yes. Hello, Majid. Yes. One moment. Yes. Yes, Majid.
Thank you very much for very deep meditation. I've been listening to you many years, maybe 10 or 15 years. First, I started on this non-dual seeking due to a Lebanese lady. Maybe you heard of her. Maryam Noor.
Maryam Noor.
Yeah,
I heard of her, but I don't know much more than that.
Yes, she used to have a TV like a satsang, and I heard from her some Indian names, and then I went from there. And your meditations have become deeper and deeper with the years. Maybe for me also, I had trouble in the beginning actually applying what I was reading and hearing. I have one difficulty also. Just these last few weeks, I heard this advice that to practice like a kind of hearing meditation while, for example, hearing the words in satsang, one can focus on the gap between syllables or between words or between sounds. And since the words or the sounds are the small events that are taking duration in time, and the gaps or the intervals are maybe in timelessness or in no time, there is a difficulty in that if I focus on the words, then it's difficult to pinpoint the start and the end of the gaps.
Yes, yes.
And if I discard or disregard the words and try to go into the silence, as if the words become disturbing somehow, then sometimes I may fall into sleep and trying to be at that point, is the awareness the gaps, or is the awareness the sounds?
Yes.
Or is the awareness the sounds and the gaps?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's difficult for me. The confusion is like the sounds seem to be, although they are at no distance, they seem to be somehow as if external, and the awareness seems to be like something that's more like the field that is more internal or more wider than the sounds. I don't know if I've.
Yes,
Maybe you can help me out with this difficulty in proceeding.
yes.
I can also say that in the first few years, my mind used to interfere a lot with the attempt to enter the awareness, either claiming the credits for doing.
Let's stay with that at first question that you posed, because it's an important question, and about the gap and about the distance between awareness or consciousness and hearing. So in when you are in satsang and when you're in satsang, you are satsang. Hearing dissolves you in its true essence, which is beyond words, beyond sounds. So a holy sound carries within the holy, the holiness. So the sound of truth carries within it the truth. Now, one could say, well, the truth is between the sounds, the gap. Sometimes we speak of the gap between sounds. It's a pedagogic way of teaching, to bring the mind to sort of notice that there isn't just activity of mind. There is also a gap between the activity. There is activity A, activity B. And between activity A and activity B, there is a gap, otherwise there would be one activity. There wouldn't be two activities. So then the mind is invited to comprehend, yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense. I'm hearing the birds, and now I'm hearing the traffic. There are two different sounds. There has to be a gap between them, otherwise there would be one sound. So it invites the mind to be open to the possibility that there is beyond the mind, that there is a gap or a realm beyond the mind. And then the mind says, okay, so then there are two different things. There is the sound and there is the gap. So I need to focus on the gap and not the sound. And when I focus on the gap, then I'm doing the right practice. Now, how do I focus on the gap? Then the mind says, well, how I need to know when does the sound end and the gap starts. So the mind turns the gap into some object, and it creates an activity. Now it has something to do, which is to focus on the gap between between the sounds. And that's not what is meant when we speak of the gap. We're just inviting the mind to be open to the possibility that there is beyond just the mind. And the mind will resist that. Say, no, there is just the mind. There is just the activity. But it can be nudged, it can be pushed into accepting it. Like open your mouth, we're gonna open your mouth and we put the medicine in. So we get, the way we convince the mind is by telling the mind, because there is reason within the mind, which is God's reason within us. The reason is that if there was no gap, then we would have one experience. All thoughts would be one thought, which is, of course, not true. We have many different thoughts. So that's how we force the mind to be open to that possibility. Now, we need to go to the next understanding. The next thing to understand is that this gap, which is what we refer to as I, between thought A and thought B, I still am, I don't disappear. The thought disappears, but the I doesn't disappear. I don't dissolve, I don't disappear between two thoughts. So the next understanding is that within the thought, as the thought appears, I also am. It is not that there is a thought and awareness is not there, or awareness is not there, and then there is a gap. And within the gap, there is awareness, presence, I am. And then thought again, thought number two comes and I disappear. No. In fact, the I, presence, what we refer to as the gap, awareness, beingness, the stillness, the silence, the being, God's being, is before the thought, during the thought, and after the thought. Before the perception, during the perception, and after the perception. In fact, it is the background of all experiences, of all perceptions. But it is not in itself a perception. It's not itself. So in terms of your meditation, because you comprehend now that this gap, this I, this awareness, is between thoughts and also is right now. Right now, there is a perception. There is an understanding of the language of we're speaking in English. There is experience. And at the same time, there is awareness. Once you come to that comprehension, that I, or the gap, is across the board, is the reality of all experiences. Reality of all experiences, why? Because this perception right now, these words that you hear right now, they're only possible. The hearing is only possible, the experience is only possible because of awareness. The thought or the voice may disappear, awareness remains. So that which is changeless and is absolute in your experience is the ground of being, is this gap, awareness, consciousness.
So it's okay. So it's okay if the voice disappears?
Absolutely.
Yes.
For example.
For example, in the satsang, you're listening and suddenly you're into, let's say, absolute awareness. So you're missing the words now. You're not really.
The words are like the magic carpet, you know. What matters is that you're flying. They're just a tool. The words are the hypnotist's trick is the hypnotist, you know, it tells you, you know, follow the pendulum, count to 10, 9, 8, 7. These are the words, you know. You know, I remember when I used to, years ago, I used to sit with Tony Packer up in Springwater, and she would give these talks for an hour. And I don't think I was hearing any words. I mean, obviously I was. I mean, I was there in the room, but it wasn't about the words. It was more just being somehow invited to the recognition of something else. You know? I don't know words for it, you know. So yes, it's not about the words. I don't even know what I'm saying when I'm speaking. I don't know. And this, don't try to remember the words. It doesn't. The words don't matter.
No.
What matters is you take the canoe from one place to the other. The canoe doesn't matter because it's an instrument, you know. It's an instrument. So in terms of your focus in satsang and in general in your meditation is not to focus on any object, because also the gap can be an object. It can be conceptualized as an object. Rather, now that you have the understanding about the gap, meaning that there is manifestation, there is experience, but there's also awareness, consciousness. That now that you have that understanding, simply do not objectify your understanding. Do not create an object, because if you create an object that you understood, there is the subject. There is the separation between the object and the subject. In the understanding, both the subject and the object dissolve in the understanding.
Yes. It's just the attention sometimes comes back and I find I'm not there, you know, like I've been listening maybe for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then somehow I'm no longer listening to the words, and then the attention sort of comes and I'm not there. And I was worrying that my awareness was not there.
Well, it depends, Majid. If you, for example, during the satsang or the meditation, your thoughts went about, oh, I need to fix my car. I didn't fix my car.
No.
Right. So,
sometimes it's just going to sleep. Sometimes it's there's nothing there that the mind can remember or something.
So in terms of going to sleep, sometimes when we are in satsang and we sit in a couch that's really comfortable, or we lie down, it's because the body, when you give the body that position, it naturally will do that. So I remember years ago when we did do the meditations, it was in the Zen tradition, we were invited to sort of lower our eyes but to sit straight and
Yes.
but not like a military style. So that could be right, because in going to sleep, although there's still the the presence, maybe you want to look at and also if you have sometimes a meal, a big meal,
Yes.
before satsang, and the satsang, let's say the meditation is half hour or something like that, because the body, the blood in the brain is going to the belly, etc. It may affect the
Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. It's very kind.
اوكي مجيد. وينك انت باي بلد انت؟
في تونس.
بتونس.
في بلد اسمه جربة.
جربة. يس. اوكي تشرفنا.
مرحبا. I really love you. You know, I think your meditations are very deep.
Yes.
Actually, I listened to many teachers, partly because I couldn't focus on something. My mind kept fighting everything. But I found you more penetrating. I was listening to the meditation on about 5 months ago. It was with Amna about French fries. That was really, really deep and to the point. Many times before, you find the different pointers so different. When you start to understand, they start to, any pointer seems to have more or less the same non-dual basic message.
Yes, yes.
That reality is one, not many.
Yes.
And for that, I want to thank you very much. It's had, in the last few weeks, it's made me focus more. And in the beginning, the major difficulty was identifying the small me thoughts, personal me, because I kept mistaking it for me, really.
Yes.
And I kept thinking it was me. I was not, it was my friend. And I've discovered it's my enemy number one.
The trickster, the trickster.
When it said I want to do this, I kept thinking it was me that I wanted to do that, and then I discovered that he has different agenda totally. And
yes, absolutely.
sometimes it's sabotage.
Yes, to maintain the sense of separation, maintain.
Yes.
Something to do, something to fix, something to repair, something is off, something is lacking. So that's the sense of separation is intimately connected with the sense of mortality, the sense of lack, worry, and concern. That's what it's about. It keeps spinning around. Oh my God, what's going to happen? What's happening tomorrow? What's going to happen? Why did I do this? And what will this happen to me? Will that happen to me? Even when it's not active that way, it's still there, waiting to jump on the next thing to fix, to blame, to correct, to avoid. Yes. It's an important discrimination, Majid, between I awareness and the little storyline about me, my life, my health, my body, my family, my money, etc. Yeah.
One difficulty that remains with that is imagining the end of the body as one's total end.
Yes, Yes.
you know,
Well,
like the complete end of everything.
yes.
Not the end of the body mind or the small self.
Yes.
That remains like the big fear, you know.
Now, look at your experience of the body, because your question or your fear about the ending of the body, is it going to be the end of the me, of consciousness, the end of consciousness? If you look at the body, your experience of the body in this moment, for example, the body appears to you. It appears to you, for example, as an image or memory. It appears to you as a sensation, like right now you have the sensation of your feet on the ground, the sensation of the breath. So the body is an appearance that appears to you, but the you doesn't appear. You, the consciousness, you don't appear. And the body, the way it appears is, it appears and then disappears, appears, disappears, appears, disappears. You could say that, for example, Majid, the 12-year-old boy, Majid, the 20-year-old young man, Majid, the 30-year-old adult, all of this, which one is Majid? Which one is the body? Which one? Is the body the Majid of 10 minutes ago, or 5 minutes ago, or the second? So if you look at the body, you find that the body is like the ocean when the waves, you see the waves, you say, oh, the ocean is this wave. Oh, no, it's those waves. No, it's those waves. No, well, now it's this. Oh, now where are the waves? No, there are no more waves. Oh, here are the waves again. So the body is constantly appearing and disappearing. Like the waves on the ocean, as a metaphor, are constantly appearing and disappearing. And sometimes it's just, there is no waves. But the ocean, irrespective of the appearance and disappearance of waves, is unaltered, unchanged, unaffected, undisturbed, untouched. So contemplate that the body is an appearance that appears to you moment by moment, but is not what you are, not what you are. In the thought that I am the body, it goes, well, what's going to happen to me when the body dies? It's the thought, within the thought, that I am the body, which is not true. I am not the body, I perceive the body. But the thought, if you go to just in the bubble now, you're inside the bubble, I am the body. When you're inside the bubble, I am the body means you believe and you feel I am the body. In this body, my mom and my dad, they called it Majid. So I am the body. So when there is that, I am the body, then what will happen to I when the body disappears? This is a good question. It's a very good question. It's a very good question. So I'm worried that. But the bigger understanding is I am not the body. You see, I'm not the body. The body, I'm not denying the body. The body is an appearance. In deep sleep, no body. There is no body. In the dream, there are altered bodies. I am an altered body in the dreams. In the waking state, it has more solidity, but still it is a gradient of solidity. It goes from solidity to the dream state, to deep sleep state, we say. And all of these states, they appear to you. The waking state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state, meaning the Majid in this state right now, the waking state, Majid in the dream state, and the no Majid or the Majid in the deep sleep state, they all appear to you. You being what? You is the reality that perceives right now, which has beyond words. beyond words. You hear the words, but that which hears the words is beyond the words. Consciousness is beyond word, body, mind. It's a reality of the word, body, mind. So that belief that I am the body is what requires your constant vigilance, to be vigilant, to be attentive, that it is within that belief that there is that concern that you expressed.
Yes. I have one small question about that. How do we reach the stabilized, permanent understanding of this awareness as the reality background? And there are 2 points of view I've heard before. Like the one is the what they call this nihilistic new Advaita, which says that no effort is needed at all, and the understanding of reality is like a random thing that happens and we have no control over it. And the opposite point of view, which says, one person says it's like you need 20,000 hours or 30,000 hours, which is like 55 years if you do 1 hour a day, to attain this permanent, stabilized understanding.
Yes.
You said before many times, no effort is needed. So I don't know how to reconcile this kind of.
Yeah. The way
What is the main argument against this nihilistic? It has some kind of attraction that it seems to make one valid point, but it seems to be there's something nihilistic about it, that one should not try and do any what they call deconditioning or deprogramming or something.
Yes. First, I would say that I would encourage you to follow your love, to follow your inner voice, to follow what resonates for you. What you have doubt about, you can continue to investigate. But if you are drawn towards an inquiry, if you are drawn towards a contemplation, if you're drawn towards sitting up and looking at the sky, if you're drawn to sit silently in your room to meditate, just follow what your love is, what speaks to you, what calls you. And so that has nothing to do with effort or effortlessness. It has to do with whatever resonates for you. Sometimes you may feel like you want to do a lot of effort, but because it's coming from within you, nobody's forcing you. So therefore this effort, so-called effort, because it's coming from within you, it's free. You're exercising your freedom. So you could say that on the outside, it may look like effort, but from the inside, doesn't look like, it's not effort, because you're enjoying it, you're loving it, that's what you want to do. So the path is the path of love and beauty and love for truth, not love for objects. It's a love for truth. Love for truth comes from love, and it comes from truth. It doesn't come from doesn't come from the illusion of being somebody, being a great guy or a great father, great son, whatever. It comes from truth itself. Now, in terms of the nihilism, the nihilistic that says no effort is needed, simply understand that you are consciousness and all is consciousness. And there's no effort needed. It's true. It is true if it is your experience. If it is your experience that all is consciousness. Your experience, not hearsay, not it's your experience that all is consciousness and I am consciousness and there's one reality. Then it's your experience. What effort is there if it's your experience? So yes, it's true if it is your experience. But unfortunately, in the Neo-Advaita circles, there is an understanding, they hear, they understand, but it's not their experience. And if it's not your experience, and then there is teaching, oh, there's nothing to do, all is one, everything is one, there is no effort, there is no one that can do any effort, etc. It somehow sounds true because it is true. The words sound true because they're speaking a truth. But what is more true is your experience, you see. So from your experience, you speak from your experience and you say, there's no effort. Awareness is effortless. Simply be, turn your attention towards awareness, whatever, I don't know, whatever words, if they're spoken from your experience, then the truth of your experience is being expressed. So in the nihilistic and Neo-Advaita teaching, it's a partial truth. They're speaking just some understanding, but it's not realized. Now, in terms of your question about how to be established in the truth, to be established in the truth, because we are the truth, is once you have a glimmer, which you do have, of truth and love for truth, follow that glimmer, follow that love, you see, follow that love. Your love for swimming will surmount a lot of things. You will learn how to swim, you will get a swimsuit, and you will in time move next to the ocean, and you will work really hard really quickly so you can make some time off to go to the beach just to learn to swim and enjoy swimming. So follow your love.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very, very, very helpful. Yes. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes.
So any questions?
Hi, Magdi.
Yes. Hello, Maria. Hello, Maria.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Magdi.
Yes.
Magdi, I then find myself being annoyed, and also
I'm sorry, Maria. I did not hear the first thing you said.
Yeah. That I often find myself annoyed and also like short-tempered or impatient. And sometimes when I hear people complaining or judging others, I find myself judging them for judging. And then I judge myself for judging them for judging, and so forth.
Yes.
And I know I pause and I recognize and I know this, and I say, on whose behalf is this happening?
Yes.
And there is a quick stillness, but it still happens quite a bit. And I'm wondering if there's another methodology, or maybe when I catch myself being triggered or annoyed or feeling, mild anger, just that kind of thing, in the everyday, day-to-day thing.
Yes.
It just seems like recognizing my true being is there. It's in the background. I can access it. However, the stuff still comes up, this sense of hurt, and it's like, on whose behalf is this who is being hurt, and so far. Do you think it's just a constant awareness, like of catching myself and asking that question?
Yes, Maria. First, be watchful not to judge yourself, not to judge your annoyance, not to judge yourself for the annoyance, because a judgment, if at all, about the annoyance is also annoying.
Yeah, it just happens so quickly, you know. It's almost like before I know, I say, oops, here I go. I'm judging, you know, I'm being annoyed at being annoyed, or
Yeah.
I'm judging myself for judging, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
When you notice the judgment, give yourself some time to just stay with the noticing. Give it, don't simply notice, oh goodness, I'm being judgmental. Give yourself some time around that. Hang out there, hang in with the noticing. So slow it down a little bit if you could, to allow the noticing, give it some more space. The other thing is, it's a good practice you are doing of asking yourself, on whose behalf is this annoyance? And of course, you will come to realize it's on behalf of me, Maria, the imagined me, the ideas that I have about me, my personal self, my family, my money, my body, my whatever, my pride, which is the me aspect, which has nothing to do with your true being, awareness, your truth, the reality of awareness. It's a good practice. There is another aspect, another sadhana besides that, which can go along with that question, on whose behalf am I being annoyed, is to go to the feeling level. So when you're annoyed, it's not just that you are thinking, oh my God, how come they're not getting it? I told them 20 times to put the dishes this way and they're putting it that way. The annoyance also has a feeling aspect to it, meaning there is a somatic aspect, there is something happening within the feeling state. And it's at the feeling state that most of the annoyance is. It's not so much at the mind level, it is at the feeling level. And at the feeling level, this is where most of the work gets done. So at the feeling level, there is a way of being open to the entire manifestation that's arising within the body mind. A relaxation around the feeling, sort of to feel it, to allow it. It's okay to feel that. And that is not that important. It's not a big deal. The feeling is not a big deal. You can be silent and still in the midst of this feeling. To explore the silence, the stillness, within the body. It is not a suppression. It's not a erasing the feeling or suppressing the feeling or ignoring the feeling or denying the feeling. Rather, it is going to the silence, the stillness, where the feeling is free to be and is revealed experientially to be empty. That basically the feeling is maintaining itself by you maintaining it. But when you go to it, completely available, completely willing, not interested in defending anything, just because something is there, you go there. And you are willing to be discovered. You're not going there in order to find a refuge or in order to find a justification for your feelings. You're going there just because it seems there is something there. And you go there, but you go there openly. And without any weapons, nothing in your hands. And you are willing to discover what the feeling is available to reveal to you. It's an inner work, let's say, that doesn't have to do with thinking outside of the thought that, yes, I can be silent and still within. Also, sometimes you've heard me speak about allowing the feeling its entire space, the spaciousness of awareness, not to define or label the feeling. Because if you define it or label it, you've moved away from it. You've gone into the concept. You've gone into the past. So the feeling is neutral. The feeling can reveal to you is true emptiness. It's nothingness. It can reveal to you its nothingness. Also, the annoyance that you experience, there are moments in your day when you're experiencing the annoyance. And that's when you say, on whose behalf am I being annoyed? Which is good to be looking at that. But what about when you are not annoyed? What about the remaining 20 hours or 15 hours, whatever? Are you just contemplating non-duality when you are being annoyed? And there is annoyance and annoyance. Sometimes I'm annoyed with people at work. What about being annoyed when you forget where you put your keys? They are in your pocket and you forgot they're in your pocket, you're looking everywhere. What about the smaller annoyances? Every little annoyance is the same annoyance. The little annoyance and the bigger annoyance, they have the same root cause of them. And the root cause of all annoyance is the belief and feeling that there is something at stake for somebody, that I am somebody. So take advantage not just of the annoyances, but even the smaller ones. You're sitting in your office doing some work and somebody in the kitchen comes and they want to tell you about the dream they had yesterday, which you really don't care about right now because it's an annoyance, a small annoyance, not a big deal. Can you take advantage of this annoyance? Because you could think, well, of course, if you have something really important to do, then you say, okay, I'm sorry, I'll listen to your story later. But if you're just doing your regular work in the office and you're annoyed because they're coming and disturbing you, can you be with this annoyance? Take it as an exercise for you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just
Yes.
rely on the bigger annoyances.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel that it's like like the body has a slight contraction and it's very slight, but like, oh,
Yeah. Every
I am in the
contraction,
body mind right now when the slight contractions occur.
right. Take advantage of every contraction to
Yes. And
just and to don't just stick with your habits. You know, if you have habits, we all have habits, in the body mind habits. Don't just remain in your habits, because they may be hiding you, they may be protecting this you. Open the gates, break down the doors. You know, it's okay. You know, I have a habit. I eat at a certain hour. You know, and then something disturbs this habit. Go with the disturbance. It's not a disturbance. Say, oh, okay. Say okay. Be okay. Go. Break out of your patterns in small ways. You know. Don't just maintain your structures. We all have structures, and they become more and more rigid with the age, with time, the age of the body. They become more and more rigid. For the truth lover is they become more and more thinner. The structures become more and more like, not like columns of cement and steel, you know. It's more and more happiness. And happiness doesn't have to do with structures. It's a flow. We're not holding on to something, defending something, protecting something, worrying about something. Yeah, just why? Okay, okay. Let's go this way. Okay, that way. Okay, okay, okay.
Thank you, Magdi.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. This is okay. This is fine. This is all right.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
And oftentimes we assume some things, you know, we assume that we know, especially in relationship with people, we project into people, oh, they're doing this, they're doing that. We don't know. Be more not knowing. You don't know. How come
We don't
you get
know.
there?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Yeah. Be not
Mm-hmm.
so that always be not knowing. Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
This is happening. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
project. Project. This is like this. It's like that. He's like this. She's like that. He did this because of this.
Mm-hmm.
He did this because of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. 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 And then we fall into expectations, and then we quickly sink into utter resentment, etc., and the low drama. All
Yes.
kinds of soap operas and dramas
Right.
occur.
Yes.
And of course, it's what the separate self does, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's not happy for anybody.
it's
not happy for anybody.
it's not happy.
No, for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So other people's happiness is your happiness.
Mm.
That's it.
Thank you so much. Mm.
Okay, Maria.
Thank you, Magdi.
Any questions? Okay, well, very lovely to be with you all. Adrienne, Holger, Maria, Mina.
Thank you, Magdi.
Yes.
Thank you.
Zoe, Majid.
شكرا حبيبي.
حبيب القلب، أهلين. راهول، Marga, hello Marga. Umer, hello Umer. Holly, hello Holly. George. And Kelly, hello Kelly.
Hi, thank you.
John. Hola Catalina. And John. To John. John and John. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you, Magdi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Magdi.
Magdi, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.